Good morning, Tony Messenger.
Good morning, McGraw. Good morning, Kelly.
Hi,
How's everybody
Tony.
doing?
So let's give kudos to the old folk station. Mark Reardon over there had an interview with Eric Greitens, getting a lot of attention here in the state. And you know it's a big deal if I want to give credit to Mark Reardon. So if I'm quoting him or using his show, you know this is a big deal, Tony Messenger.
Yes, I do.
So the governor was on his show, and he was asking about his fundraising and this organization called A New Missouri, which is a nonprofit organization that is run by everyone close to Eric Greitens, except Eric Greitens. But he will not,
or so he said.
Right, will not release the name of the donors. And Eric Greitens, and I'm paraphrasing, said that basically he wants to keep the secret identities or the donors' identities secret because it's no one's business but their own who is giving to a candidate or a governor. That's a pretty scary situation when the governor of a state wants to and is demanding that people who give money to his campaign should remain secret.
Well, it's scary for three different reasons. The first reason is it's the exact opposite thing that he said during the campaign. During the campaign, he campaigned on transparency and money. He specifically, the one time I spoke to him, talked about what some lobbyists and politicians do about moving money from campaign account to campaign account so nobody knows where it came from. He called that money laundering. That is now his modus operandi. So he's completely flipped on being the guy that stands up for ethics. So that's number one. Number two, he either seriously doesn't understand the concept of American voting, which is scary because it goes into question how this guy ever became a Rhodes Scholar, or he doesn't believe in it. Because in the American system of voting, we have to register. And so there is a record of whether or not we were a voter. There is a registry of whether or not we voted. It's public record. What doesn't exist is a registry of who we voted for. So therefore, the politician can't use that information to either intimidate us or use us or punish us or whatever. That's where the secrecy comes. In secret money, there is no registry, there is no sign up, there is no public record, and the exact opposite occurs. The politician knows who's giving him money. So the politician now can call a special session because his buddies are giving him secret money, and the voter will never know. It's the exact opposite problem. So again, either the governor doesn't understand it, which would really be scary. I think he does, and he's intentionally trying to deceive voters because he thinks they're stupid.
Here's how far it goes. He, as you said, he released the cell phone number of a sitting senator. And so he's all worried about privacy, and he's releasing personal information for people who he's working against in some political form.
And he's using secret money to do it. Remember, when that happened to Governor Greitens, when he was candidate Greitens, he called John Brunner a weasel for doing such things. I mean, it's the hypocrisy is reaching a level that is pretty rare in politics, which is hard to say.
Also, Tony, is it safe to say that he's able to do something that no one's been able to do in the state? Democrats and Republicans are calling him out for this.
Oh, it's absolutely. I mean, his spokesperson or his aide, Austin Chambers, continues to try to peddle this lie that it's Democrats and liberal media. There's a lot of conservative Republicans angry about this, and they're putting their names on it, and they're in the Missouri Senate, and they're arguing against this dark money. Real quick, I want to mention my third point, the third thing that this argument that the governor is making means. It means that he undermines, doesn't believe in the entire state ethics law that actually requires campaigns to host their donors. It means that he didn't mean what he said when he tried to ban lobbyist gifts because the basis of banning those lobbyist gifts is the public record that shows where the politician is trying to be influenced by the various special interests. His argument undermines all of that. It is ridiculous. A high school debater would beat him on that. And I just don't understand it. Now, it's fine for him to go on softball radio and say such things and not be questioned by his softball radio announcer. But the fact is, when he says these things, they're in the public domain. People are going to respond to them. And they mean things. And so when he runs for president or whatever he does next, these things are out there in the public domain. He's got to pick a side. Instead, he's picking every side.
So to put this into perspective, Tony Messenger, you have a sitting governor who said that he does not believe in releasing the name of the donors who gives him and his organizations money. There hasn't been another candidate or sitting elected official anywhere who has ever said anything like that.
No, and keep in mind, and I'm working on a column about this for next weekend, he's the first governor ever who hasn't released the amount of money that his donors gave him for the inaugural. And he hasn't released what that inaugural cost. And the inaugural committee was named roughly the same thing as his new secret committee. The inaugural committee was Committee for a New Missouri. His new committee is called A New Missouri. And when you look at the Secretary of State records, those inaugural donors, if the inaugural only cost $100,000 and he took in $1 million, all of that money could simply be transferred over to his new secret account. He might have been using the inaugural as nothing but a fundraiser. We don't know because he won't release the dollars.
Is he breaking?
Republicans previously got very angry about this when a Democratic governor tried something similar, and they forced him, Governor Bob Holden, to release all of the details because that's good government.
Is he breaking any laws, or is there a question of the laws in which he is doing all of this? Is he skirting the laws? Is it the letter of the law? Is he breaking the law? Where is he? What does the law say?
The problem in Missouri is legalized bribery is practically the name of the game in Missouri. That's what he campaigned on. That was the argument he made. It's true. Our ethics laws are very weak here. But there is one law that I think, at least the spirit of the law, he's clearly ignoring. There is a law in Missouri that says donors cannot try to hide the source of their funds. And yet the very method of how he's raising money into his dark money committee exists to hide the source of the funds. Now, is there a mechanism for somebody to investigate that and find it to be illegal? I don't know. All I know is there's one state senator, Ryan Silvey from Kansas City, who has suggested that the FBI ought to be looking at the way money is flying around the Capitol related to certain bills that both Governor Greitens and President Pro Tem Senator Ron Richard are involved in. I think that's a fair suggestion for law enforcement to be concerned about the dark money trying to affect public policy in the state of Missouri.
We should say that Ryan Silvey is a Republican from the Kansas City side.
Republican, yes, he is.
Yeah. Tony Messenger, never a dull moment. Thanks for checking in.
Good to talk to you.
All right. You can read his column, stltoday.com, and he's with us every Tuesday and Thursday here on the Big 550.